Welcome to Glen Talks, where we talk about all things in the world of business in the local community. We offer inclusive insights and exclusive experiences. We've got a great show for you today. Our guest is Mayor Megan Knight of White Rock. We're going to hear about her career path and some of the successes and challenges in operating this beautiful city by the sea. Thank you so much for joining us, Mayor Knight.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
Awesome. So, Mayor of White Rock, what led you into that career path, and can you share a little bit about your journey in public service?
Sure. Well, I'll start from the beginning. I grew up in Cloverdale in a very large family of 14 children, and my father was the RCMP officer in charge. So I always had to work really hard for anything that I wanted, and it gave me those, those basic get out there, work hard, get ahead, values. And so when I went into business for myself in 1998, I guess it was, I became a notary public, and another public service type job, and dealing with people in times of need, when they're buying a house or mortgaging or a will or an estate, that type of work. So I really enjoyed working with people, listening to people, trying to help them solve their problems. And so in 2012, we had a by-election in White Rock. And I thought, you know what? I've always been interested. And my youngest was in university at the time. And I thought, now I've got the time. I'm going to try. So it was just a little by-election, not a big voter turnout. I didn't put too much effort into it. I just kind of threw my name in the ring. And I came in third. Wow. So a lot of people approached me after that and said, you have to run. You have to do a proper campaign next time. So the next campaign was 2014. And I was approached by some sitting councillors already. And they said they wanted to put a slate together. And would I join them? And I did. And we won. And that's how I got started.
So what sort of challenges did you face kind of stepping into politics that maybe you weren't anticipating?
The challenges from the get-go was all of a sudden people don't like you, right? You're getting attacked for a decision you've made, or, why did you say that? Or why did you do that? And what I found is in my business, the customer is always right, right? So you always go out of your way to make sure that it is done. And in this one, now I'm getting attacked for doing my job. And so I found that the hardest lesson to learn is you need to turn that off and say, no, I'm making the right decisions for the community. We need to move forward. And some people aren't going to like it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to like me voting yes to something. And we just have to move forward with stuff like that and kind of block that out. Mm-hmm. And it is tough nowadays with social media, like something like this. They can really, how do you say it? Screw it, or skew it. Yeah. That type of thing. So you just have to be very careful, because people will change what you said into something that can be nasty. So then when stepping in, what were some of the challenges that you faced when stepping into politics that you maybe didn't anticipate or were surprised by? Yeah, I think the main thing is people coming after you. Being a notary public, I was always helping people, and they were always appreciative of the work that I went through to help them. And I find with politics, a lot of people don't like you, no matter how high you are in the polls and that type of thing. They're always going to come after you, and they're always going to twist what you say. And I found that very tough to take, because you want people to like you, right? I mean, I think that's just human nature. And to all of a sudden have people just hate you that don't know you, and the keyboard warriors, that type of thing. Yeah. That was the toughest lesson I had to learn at the beginning, that you're never going to get them to vote for you. They're never going to like you. You just have to move on. You have to make the right choices. Say, if I vote yes to this, I'm going to stand behind it. And if I vote something down, you just have to say, this is what I'm doing for the community, not these 5 people that are after me or being nasty. And that was the biggest lesson I think I learned right away. Yeah. And like you said, you're never going to please everybody. No. Do you find that, some people, when you find these keyboard warriors or people that are just going to be negative for the sake of being negative, have you had an opportunity to reach them and realize,
people realizing the impacts of their actions on people a little bit?
I mean, White Rock's a small city, right? I mean, we're 5 square kilometers. So when I go to the grocery store, I'll run into them, right? And I always say hello. How are you doing? And they're pleasant as anything to me. Yeah. And that always kind of makes me go a little crazy going, you know, you can type away and try and make a person look awful. But then when you see them eye to eye, you're friendly as anything. Mm-hmm. That to me is not a nice trait in someone.
And that's kind of one of the biggest challenges, I think, with modern politics, with having this social media versus the media as well.
And I think it's tough being a woman too. You know, I get slammed about a dress I'll wear. I'll get slammed about color of my hair. You wore that outfit at another event. You know,
heaven forbid.
I know. And it's just like, you don't say that about a man in a suit or a man that's wearing shorts and a golf shirt. Mm-hmm. Right? No, but as a woman, you get attacked on everything. Your jewelry. You know, my husband gave me a nice ring for my engagement ring. Now I'm, you know, a rich person. Oh, you know, like I get slammed on a lot of things, and I don't think men do. So it's a little tougher on us, for sure.
So with your experience and your background with helping lots of people, was there anything that specifically stood out that had pushed you a little bit further to get into politics? Is there something in terms of policy, or what are some of the key pillars of your campaign that you'd like to push?
I think the main thing, like when I first started, was White Rock was it was dying. It was, you know, a 1950s town. You know, the little strip malls, and it wasn't going anywhere. And I think that was one of the main reasons I joined with the slate, because they were pro-development. They wanted to see things happen in White Rock. And I said, okay, we've got 4 years. What are we going to accomplish? And we accomplished a lot in that 4 years. But the downside of that is the anti-development people don't like that. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have a pro-development slate, you have the anti-development slate. And in White Rock, it seems every 4 years it goes one way or the other. Mm-hmm. So you're in for 4 years, you're out for 4 years. And that's what happened to my group. And in 2022, I was approached to run for mayor. And I said, well, is it going to be the pro ones or the anti ones this time? Because, you know, I want to see White Rock grow. I want to see it, you know, develop properly and with a plan, not just, you know, spot zoning and things like that. And so people encouraged me to run. And so I ran and I won. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're trying to be progressive again. But of course, a lot of people don't want anything built in White Rock because it's a small community. They want to keep it small. Mm-hmm. But we have a big sister surrounding us called the City of Surrey. Yeah. And I have a great relationship with Mayor Locke. But, you know, I always laugh. I say, you're my big sister. They've got a huge development plan for the Semiahmoo plan. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. It's at 152 and 16th in that mm-hmm. area. And, you know, minimum buildings there are going to be like 20 stories. So that's going to be right at our gateway, mm-hmm. like a big wall of high rises.
Yeah, and we've had such an influx of just a lot of people immigrating. You've got mm-hmm. a lot of newcomers to White Rock. So how do you address the needs of your current residents while also welcoming and also addressing the needs of the newer people to the community, as well as businesses that want to flourish?
The biggest thing is infrastructure, because again, nothing was done for years and years. So all our, you know, underground utilities, the water mm-hmm. lines, the sewer lines, all that needs to be upgraded, which is, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's huge money. And the government or the province has put us on the naughty list mm-hmm. because nothing got built again. And so we have to build 1,067 units, I think it is. We're mandated to build it. So I'll say to people, where do you want me to put it? Mm-hmm. You know, we're 5 square kilometers. The only way to do it is to go up. It's the only way. And the people that live there don't want that to happen. The people coming in that we have to take more and more people in. I mean, we're getting more and more immigration that we have to take in. They're like, build it. We need affordable housing. We need, you know, everybody has needs. So it's kind of just a balancing act of how to make it all work, how to bring it all into one pie type thing.
And you guys have an exciting affordable housing initiative that's started up. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, we're looking at building a community hub because my city hall is over 60 years old, and we're putting too much money in maintaining it. It's past its prime, and as you know, in your business here, everything's costing a lot more money every day. The prices are going up for concrete and wood and everything else to build, and so we're looking at a community hub where we can bring our city hall, library, maybe even the RCMP office, a daycare, like put a whole package together. And that would have a scenario with the affordable housing component in it too. We own some property around White Rock, so we're looking at some of those. We've got a committee put together right now that's reviewing all our properties and where we can do it and how we can do it, how we can afford it. And of course, we're going to the province and the feds and saying, we need help because we've got a population of seniors. I think we're 37% seniors. And the number one thing that was recommended to us was affordable senior housing. So that's one of our top priorities, is to get some housing built for them.
So engaging with your seniors and your retirees that are within the city, there's also the broader connection and getting that community connected directly in, hearing about the history. What are some of the initiatives that White Rock's done to help bring the new people, the newcomers, and the existing community together?
Well, we have a lot of different organizations. Like, first of all, we have CARP, and that's the retired persons group, and they always have lots of wonderful get-togethers. Like we have, where I have to go and speak, and we have them in because there's a lot of loneliness for a lot of seniors too. So we bring them in, and we have at our community center, we have get-togethers and fun things like, Elvis will come and there'll be different dancing and things like that. But it also has the opportunity to have, say, my RCMP staff sergeant, or different things in our community that maybe they need to ask some questions about. How do I stay safe on my computer? How do I stay safe walking around town? What can we do if, someone knocks on our door? That type of thing. So we have a lot of that, but then our library and different areas too, we also have for the younger generation, we'll have book reading for the little kids, and we'll have, new people to our community come and meet other people. So there's a whole range of activities and things always going on between the different organizations. Rotary is a big one too. Rotary, I think we've got 5 Rotary in just in our little area. So we've got lots of organizations that really reach out and get people involved, and if someone's on their own, bring them into the fold, kind of thing, to keep an eye on them.
And the absolute jewel is that beautiful drive along Marine going into White Rock. And there's been a tremendous amount of really neat events to help kind of drive the community to the beach, and also during the wintertime to help support businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you guys were recently rocked with some tremendous events that were very shocking. And that was a very trying time for White Rock, and also for you as well, bringing leadership into that situation. So reflecting back on the situation, like, what were you surprised by from the community coming out of that?
Well, I mean, it was a terrible time. I mean, when the death happened down at the beach, and then the other stabbing, it was shocking. I mean, I'd lived in White Rock over 45 years. And of course, we've never had something like that, right? I mean, it's a very safe, small community where you can walk at night. And, so it was very devastating that this happened, number one, of course, to the families. And it was just an onslaught that came into our community. People were just shocked. I mean, we literally had, like, IHIT came in, and we literally had like a SWAT team, like almost like our army base set up outside my City Hall. I mean, it was incredible, the amount of work that went into bringing that person into custody. But it was an eye-opener too, that the world has changed. There are people that are walking around that maybe shouldn't be, that need, professional help or need to be locked up, whatever their scenario is. And we had to step up, and I had to give things like this, like go on a video and say, this is what's happened today. This is what I can tell you today. Because of course, again, back to the keyboard warriors, they were making it sound just terrible. I mean, it was a terrible incident that happened, but beyond that, they went above and beyond to just make it very, very nasty. And, you know, don't come to White Rock. It's a terrible place to be. You're going to get murdered and things like that, you know. So we had to counter that too and say, no, you know, we've got boots on the ground. We've got all this going on, and you're safe. You know, this is just this one situation that happened, and it was a terrible situation. But, you know, you can still come to our restaurants. You can still come to our jewel, you know, the beach. And so it was a very trying time, and it was a lot of cameras stuck in my face and microphones. And they just, you know, a lot of them just want to get a clip that doesn't make you look too great. And I know my staff and myself, and we went through a lot of nights of no sleep. And I would have the phone beside the bed, and when it would ding, I'd go, oh no, not again. Here we go. But it was just an update from my RCMP or something like that, right? So it was just like every night you kind of went to bed and went, oh, please, in the morning, please catch this person, you know, please have good news. We just need some good news.
And relief and comfort. And
yes, just that. Everybody was on edge, you know, even taking their children to school. You know, you would see parents walking their children because we just didn't know what we were dealing with at the time till this person was caught. Yeah.
So how do you see White Rock evolving towards moving from a small, quaint community into a more broader urbanized center next to its big sister city?
Yeah. I think it's always going to be quaint because we've got that beautiful view. We've got, you know, the Marine Drive with the restaurants. We've got the beautiful pier. We're always going to have that ambiance. People are always going to want to come. But like you say, it's going to build up, and we have to build up. Like the province has told us we have to build more housing. So it's again, that balancing act of how do we do this properly? Because when we make these decisions today, I have to think 50 years out, you know, at least. So you think of White Rock 50 years ago, right? Little beach cottages and huge lots and, you know, and now, you know, we've got some buildings, we've got a vibrant uptown, we've got a little brewery area, you know, with the different brew pubs, and we've got seniors housing, a beautiful building, Park Retirement built there, and everybody loves it. You know, nobody wants the change. Nobody wants the road ripped up. Nobody wants the hammers going 24/7. But once it's there, they love it. We ran into that when we did Marine Drive. We redid the whole Memorial Park, and everybody said, oh, you're making it a concrete jungle. It's going to be horrible, blah, blah, blah. Now, like you said, you know, we have our beautiful concerts down there. We have all kinds of events, and everybody loves it. Yeah. But you just have to get over those couple of years of construction to realize what can actually unfold.
And sometimes leading into the uncomfortable parts.
Again, those are the decisions you have to make, and a lot of people aren't going to like them. I actually had one councillor of the day come up to me and he said, I fought this. I thought it was wrong. And he goes, you know, now I'm here. It's beautiful. I'm glad you did it. And I said, boy, could you get on Facebook and put that out there? That would be nice. But no.
So what are some of the bigger things, and you're looking forward to the next 5-10 years? What would you like to see accomplished?
Well, the main one, besides our community hub, of course, is we've got to get the pier rebuilt. It was destroyed in 2018, and it was a third of it has been rebuilt. 2/3 of it isn't. And we need to do seismic upgrading. We need to do all this stuff because it's old. I mean, it was completely rebuilt in, I think, 1970 or in the 70s, I remember as a kid. And since then, it's just been patched, you know, new planks put down or this or that. And I've gone to the province. I've gone to the federal government. We've put, I think, about $3 million aside for it. And the last time I got a quote, it was $15 million. So you have to understand, $15 million to White Rock. My 1% tax increase is like $290,000. So I can't go to my people and say, we need an 18% tax increase to get the pier fixed. So that's would be my number one accomplishment, hopefully within the next 5 years, is to get that rebuilt. It needs to be built, and it's our jewel. Like you say, you drive along Marine Drive, it's beautiful. Like, people want to walk on it.
Yeah.
I actually, to try and get some coverage on it, I put a little donation box at the beginning of the pier, and I took a lot of flack for that. But it was just to bring to people's attention, all this costs money.
Yeah. Yes,
you love to come to our community and walk the pier, but, put $2 in the donation box. That would be great. Maybe one day I'll get my 15 million, But it was more of a publicity stunt than actually getting lots of money. But that's one thing. Besides the community hub, a lot of our buildings, we've got a master plan on all our buildings. Like our arena is over 60 years old. Everything is over 60 years old in White Rock. And our senior center, seniors are trying to get us to rebuild a new senior center. So that's another thing we might be able to put into the community hub. So if we could get that community hub done and the pier, I'd be a very happy person.
Amazing. And that is Canada's longest pier as well. And they had for those watching, there's a crazy storm.
Yes.
What year was that? 2018, I think
December
it was.
2018. And we had a little marina at the end of the pier. And what happened was it was a huge tide. And then there was a storm. And the sailboats got unleashed from the dock. And then they were slamming into the pier. So that's what actually broke the pier, were the boats.
Yeah. And it was down for a year and a half.
Oh, it was a long time.
Yeah.
It took a long time.
Long time to rebuild.
But then, there was also COVID hit and different things, right? So there was a lot of things that took a long time. It wasn't on my watch. I wasn't mayor then, but I know it when you're dealing with anything over water, you're dealing with your provincial government, you're dealing with your federal government, fisheries, you're dealing with your First Nations. So to get anything accomplished over water is a lot of red tape that you have to go through.
Yeah. And there's been a little bit of conflict between some of the residents with some of the decisions of some of the First Nations with some development projects. How do you help manage that conflict and educate the residents on while they have with how to bring those concerns together and have a respectful dialogue?
I mean, if you're talking about the biofuel, there were some rallies and things. I did not attend them because personally, I think that's their land. It's their decision to make. I'm also the mayor. So with chief and council, we work together on a lot of different things, even just, if we're having an event, I'll ask them to come and speak or give a blessing. So I need to keep that relationship open. And I'm not about to tell them what to do on their property. But people can protest and people can do whatever. I just didn't want to be any part of it.
And so also historically, when it comes down to the beach, a lot of people enjoy it, but not everybody can. You've got railway tracks that are in the way, and accessibility is always a bit of an issue. And so you have a lot of people that don't really get to have the true, authentic experience. Can you share a little bit about what initiative you guys had launched into and what you're able to help bring to people?
Yes. We started an accessibility committee that they did a walk and roll, they called it. And they went around with our staff and identified different areas that needed updating, new infrastructure put there, that type of thing. And then I think it was January or February, we had a delegation come to council, and it was a woman that said, not everybody can enjoy the pier. Have you looked at these mats? And there's one in Santa Barbara, or Santa Monica, I think it was. And we said, no, that's interesting. So I asked the accessibility committee to look at it, and then they came back and so we looked for funding because I knew the province would probably give us money for something like that. And we put it out there because you have to understand the pier is heritage too, right? It's so I can't just do something to it. We have certain rules and regulations that we have to follow. So anyways, we got together and Spark BC gave us a grant of $25,000, which was great. And then some local the Semiahmoo Self-Advocates, they gave us some money. They had a clothing sale, and they gave us all the proceeds from that. And then our Seroptimus group in White Rock gave us a few $1,000s. So with all of that and what the city had to put in, we got a mat put down. And it's helping people that are in walkers or wheelchairs, because what they were telling us was you can go over the planks. It is accessible, but the bumping. So this mat gives it a smoother surface. So then it's more enjoyable that they're not getting any pain from it type thing. So it's been well received. We just opened it at, I think, just before Labor Day, and it's been well received, and we're hoping people enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome. So just fostering inclusivity and just building amazing relationships with everybody in the community.
Yes, we're trying. The railroad tracks is a different story. That's not us. You have to go through BNSF, and they're down in, I think, Texas, their head office. So we've given that to our accessibility committee to deal with that, to do that. If we could get rid of the railroad tracks, that would be great going through White Rock. Then I'd have a nice, lovely green space along there. But that's not going to happen anytime soon, I'm afraid.
So when it comes to relationships that you've built over your time, who would you consider to be some of your biggest mentors, and what did you learn about their leadership styles that you've adopted into yours?
Well, I have to say, when I first started out, every past mayor that's still around White Rock contacted me and wanted to have coffee or whatever. So that was great.
Yeah.
They wanted to give me their 2 cents, even if they were from the 70s or whatever, it was great that way. But I think when it comes to who I look to for mentorship, that type of thing, I know Diane Watts, the former mayor of Surrey. She was also an MP. I know her quite well, and I easily can bounce questions off of her, and she would say, don't go there, or I would do this if I were you, that type of thing. She's a straight shooter. But there's lots of women and men that I look to for mentorship, Our MP, Carrie Lynn Finley, she's great. She's on the conservative side. Just people like that, I can just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this, or how would you deal with this? Just to get that second opinion. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm just wondering what you think of that. And they'll give it to you straight.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for anybody that would be considering taking an interest, how to get involved in municipal politics? What are some ways that they can kind of get their name out there and get more involved with decisions that are being made by the city? And then kind of leading into, how does council work and how? Yeah,
I think most people just look at a politician as like that person at the ribbon cutting or that picture in the newspaper. Getting into politics, you have to have a thick skin, because, like I said, everybody's not going to like you. I saw a poster once, and it said, "If you want everybody to like you, sell ice cream. Don't get into politics." And I thought that was a great one. I should put it in my office on the wall, because it's true. I would like to see younger people get involved. When you look at the demographics, I'd like to get more diversity, more women, right? My council's kind of balanced right now, which is great, age-wise, and men, women, that type of thing. But, we need more people willing to step forward. And it is tough in this environment with you being attacked on Facebook and these different ones. And if I could tell people what it is like, you're making decisions for the future. And you just have to have that block or that mask on that says, don't listen to that. Do what you think is right. And that's the people voted you in for you to make the decisions, right? Not for the naysayers talking in the background all the time. You make those decisions. And most of the people aren't really following it day by day. They voted you in for you to do it. That's your job. Yeah. So it's not a glamorous job, that's for sure. It's a lot of work, from morning to night. Once I finish at City Hall, I'm usually going to some sort of event or doing a speech somewhere or coming to something like this. It's not like just a 9 to 5, that's for sure. So I know for some people with young children and that, it is a tough job to have, because maybe they're working full time, they have young children. I'll think about that when I'm 50 or 60, is kind of what people think about politics. But I would like to see someone 30
Yeah.
You know, that would be great. Just, you know, so they could explain to me what a podcast is, you know, you know, that type of thing, you know, give us their point of view on what's going to work in White Rock.
Mm-hmm. And council meetings, how well attended are those by residents?
Not very. No, we've got a small chamber, but normally, depending what the issue is, we can have it packed if it's something really heated. But normally there might be 5 or 10 people in there. Mm-hmm. And the reason being too is we video it. Right. So you can watch it live stream or you can watch it at your leisure.
And that's fantastic as well.
Yeah. So a lot of people will say, well, how did that vote go or that type of thing? And I say, just click on the link. It's right there. And I've got a new communications person we just hired, and she's started wanting me to do like a council update after the council meeting. Let's just do a little video that says, these are the 5 top things that council voted on, or this is what's happening. Yeah. And so we're just started that. So we'll see what type of feedback we get on that too, if that's working to reach more people.
That'll be nice in terms of hitting a higher engagement. And then also for those people that maybe are those opposing voices after the decision's made, you know, they have an opportunity to constructively be able to provide some input ahead of that might, you know, if it's impossible to consider everything if you don't hear people's voices.
It puts the facts out there.
Exactly.
Right? These are the facts. And that's what I tried to do when we had the tragedy down on the beach, because there was so much. It was just rampant. The stories going out. I mean, they were just going in so many directions. It was crazy. I said, these are the facts. This is where I'm at with RCMP and IHIT. This is, you know, this is what we can tell you at this point, you know, and people appreciated that. They said, thank you for keeping us informed, because we were scared. We didn't want to go out, you know. So that's what we're also trying to do at the council level now. And I mean, a lot of council might be boring for a lot of people. They don't want to watch the whole 2 hours or whatever it is, you know. They just want to know, hey, how did you vote on the pier? Or how did you do this? So I'll just say, go to the thing. It's at minute 33. Yeah. You know, make it easy for you.
And you speak on behalf of Youre quite a bit also with a lot of the other mayors, and you guys have some roundtables. Can you share a little bit about your experience and how that dynamic?
Well, I sit on the TransLink Mayor's Council, and then also Metro Vancouver, and that includes all the 23 of us, I think it is. So it's interesting, you know. I mean, there's all different personalities, there's all different political backgrounds, and I find most of them are more than willing to give you some help with something. They you know, they'll all say, hey, you've been doing this for so many years. What do you think about this? Or, you know, we'll talk about roundtable. With Mayor Locke and myself, we meet, we have coffee because, again, a lot happens between our two communities, right? So I have a good relationship with her. We also started a little get together of south of the Fraser mayors. So we have Mayor Harvey from Delta, Mayor Patel from City of Langley, and Mayor Woodward from Township of Langley. So we'll have a little Zoom or whatever on some things like south of the Fraser that might not be getting addressed because we kind of get pushed aside sometimes for the bigger cities, and Surrey is growing. I mean, it's going to be one of the biggest cities in a few years. I think by 2030, it's going to outpace Vancouver. You know, so that's a big city.
Being so close to the border, there's a lot of opportunity for further development. And, you know, we've had a lot of different transit proposals put on the table over the years. And there's been a lot of big developments in terms of like a big transit hub that's kind of gone into the south part of Surrey. And having to address, you know, the affordable housing and bringing more population, bringing more spaces for people to live. Do you kind of feel that we're in that really awkward growing phase and struggle because of, you know, a bit of a lack of transit that we've had in the past, and now we're struggling to try and keep up?
Yeah.
And then our road infrastructure.
Yeah. There's a lot to be done, but there's a lot of people coming. So it's kind of a big melting pot right now. How do we get this all done? And like at the TransLink level, you know, we need funding, just like my municipality needs funding. Because we're supposed to take in, I think, 50,000 people a year or some number like that. And it's like, well, they're going to be where the transit is, right? If they're coming from other countries and that, they don't have the ability to have cars and things like that. So they're going to be where transit is. They're the ones that are going to work. So it all has to fit together. And it's not just the cities, it's the province and the feds, right? Like whenever you go to the province, they'll say, well, we need to get that from the feds. Like it's always kind of a triangle, if you want to say. And we just do our best to put out what we need to make this work. And if you want us to, like in White Rock's case, you want us to build 1,067 units over the next 5 years.
Where?
I've got bus stops. You know, we can probably get the developers to build them, but where are these people? Are they going to work? Like, what do we have in White Rock to offer them for, you know, different facilities? If Surrey's building right across the street from me and they're going to have another 10,000 or 15,000 people, we need the infrastructure to make it all work.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It provides a really, really amazing snapshot to kind of how White Rock fits in with the broader network. So affordability has been a major issue in British Columbia as the cost of living is rising, and we're seeing a greater number of people that are moving to live in their vehicles, and also homelessness has been increasing quite a bit. It's a big concern in a lot of different cities, and White Rock has done some initiatives as well. Can you share a little bit about?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, homelessness is everywhere now. It's not just, you know, select cities. We put forward a warming center that we have open during the daytime till 10 o'clock at night in White Rock. And it's cost a lot of money. We've asked the province for help. The province will only help us if we've got extreme weather. So the last year it cost us $360,000, which, like I had stated earlier, that's a lot of money to a small city like White Rock. But we have care in there for them. They'll come in, they'll get a cup of coffee, something to eat. There might be a nurse there to, you know, help with a wound or something like that. There's trying to help them find housing somewhere, you know. So it's a great little hub that we set up. The problem is it costs us a lot of money to do it. And we've gone to the province and said, please help us. You know, we can't do this on our own. And so they've started giving us a little bit of money towards it if the temperature drops below a certain degree. Now, the problem I find with that is it can be pretty cold and wet out there some nights and the temperature's at 0.
Yeah.
We have to shut our doors at 10 o'clock. So again, we're going to do it. Again, we're going to ask the province. We're hoping they'll step up and give us some funding for this because it's a need everywhere. And the more people you leave on the street, the more issues happen, right? We have more crime. We have more, you know, people that may be overdosing. You know, at least if we have some place for them to go, we can protect them and give them something, some dignity. Yeah. Right.
And it's just the right thing to do. And
it is the right thing to do. The problem is it's just money. Always. It's just, you know, for a small city, it's really tough. So I know across the border in Surrey, Mayor Locke is opening up her community center in the evenings. But again, in extreme weather scenario. So we can take them by van over to that on an extreme weather. But on a normal night, we have to shut the doors at 10 o'clock. And that's heartbreaking. I wish we could get the funding for 24/7.
And hopefully that will be to come.
Hopefully. We've got a provincial election. So I've got a few questions like that to ask.
And possibly federal as well.
Federal as well. And that's what the province will say to me. Well, we have to go to the feds too to get money from them so we can give the money to you, right? That type of thing. But it's not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger. And any city that you go into or little town, people are homeless. And it might not just be that person with a shopping cart. It might be a senior who just can't afford the rents anymore. It might be a young single mother with a child living in a car. You know, that's no way to live. No. So we've got to help protect the vulnerable, right?
So addressing these issues on a municipal level, on a provincial level, on a federal level, politics isn't for those of the faint of heart.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But you can also learn too. Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm hoping to maybe get some younger blood into politics because they can learn from. I mean, I go to a Metro meeting and there's a mayor there that's been a mayor for over 20 years. I talk to him all the time because I just think I want to pick his brain. Yeah. You know, if he's been around for 20 years and survived this, I mean, he's got to know a lot of things.
Our next section is a little bit of a fun rapid fire round.
Ooh.
So it's a whole bunch of fun questions from one sentence to one word answers. And just to get to know you a little bit better, and then sometimes you'll be surprised at some of your answers.
Probably.
Don't think too hard.
My brain will go in another direction or something.
So what's your favorite spot in White Rock to relax?
Favorite spot would be walking the promenade.
Perfect. Best favorite place to do a business lunch?
Business lunch would be the Boathouse.
And what is a recent book that has had a big impact on you that you've read?
I haven't had time to read books in a long time because I'm reading reports every night and that. So I really haven't had that luxury. So I'll have to skip that one. I'm sorry.
I've been doing a lot of audiobooks myself.
Yeah, my daughter says that too. She says, Mom, get into the audio. And I go, well, then there's something talking in my head and I'm trying to concentrate on something else. So no, I read reports from Metro, from TransLink, from the city, just all kinds of reports every night.
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Yeah.
Go-to comfort food?
Pizza.
Nice. Early bird or night owl?
Neither. I'm kind of middle of the road. I don't like getting up super early, but I'm probably in bed hopefully by 10.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
you enjoy your sleep.
If I can get it.
If
my brain's not going in 50 directions all night long. Yeah.
What's a favorite summer activity in White Rock?
Oh, the beach, like swimming,
You do paddleboarding?
No, I don't. I tried windsurfing once. It was difficult, but I got the sail up and everything. But
oh, that's fun. Yeah. Best piece of advice you've received in your career?
I would say in the politics, it would be you're not going to please everyone. Just make your decision and move on.
Mm-hmm. I have another one. So if your opinion of me is none of my business.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you had to pitch White Rock to a visitor in one sentence, what would you say?
Beautiful seaside city.
Yeah. City by the sea.
City by the sea. That's right.
What's one thing you think every new business in White Rock should be aware of for their success?
Oh, well, you should have a business plan. That's a long question, and I can't do that in a few words. You should have a business plan. We have a wonderful BIA and a Chamber of Commerce that they need to get in touch with.
Wonderful people there.
Mm-hmm.
What's one skill every leader should have?
Listening.
Your favorite productivity hack? Is there an app that you can't live without? Is there a special regime? Okay.
Not that I can think of. My brain.
In one word, how would you describe your leadership style?
Strong.
Now, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Superpower. What I would like to have, or what do you mean? What I have already if I was a superhero?
Well, maybe what would you like to have?
I'd like to be able to read people's minds. Yeah, I'd like that.
Love it. Guilty pleasure, TV, show, or a movie?
TV.
Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
No.
Oh.
No.
Weirdest job you ever had growing up?
I used to clean the bathrooms at B&B Trucking in Cloverdale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. That taught me to get out there and work harder, get an education.
And if you were asked to do like a TED Talk on a topic, what would that be?
I think I would probably talk about women in politics, how to get them to do it. Because I think a lot of people just don't want to even consider it. Mm-hmm. Right? You really have to talk people in to run. People aren't coming and knocking on my door saying, I want to run. I have to go to them and say, I think you should run.
What's if City Hall had a theme song when you walked in, what would it be?
Mayberry. RFD.
And if White Rock has a flavor of ice cream, what would it be?
Oh, chocolate, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really had a great opportunity to sit down with you and get to know you a little bit better. And I'm sure I'm going to see you so much more. We do have a little gift for you.
Oh. Is it something that says Glen Group on it? A coffee mug?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
A few more things. So something for you to relax, enjoy, and also something to keep your coffee nice and hot for you.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, and you even have my name on it. That's very sweet.
Well, that's all we have for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next time. We're bringing you more dynamic content. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.